Hello, my name is Jack, and today I'm here to propose to you my pitch for a jazz magazine known as Smooth Tunes. So, my name is Jack. I really enjoy listening to music, in particular jazz. I feel it's a underrated genre and it's not as popular as I believe it should be. I'm here to show you my idea for a new and exciting jazz magazine based in North London about upcoming jazz artists. I have chosen the genre jazz for many reasons. As I've said, personally, I believe that it's an underrated genre. There's a lot of pop and rock in today's world, and it's sort of oversaturated to the point where jazz and a lot of other genres aren't talked about a lot. So the form for the magazine, the front cover will have the title, price, an image of the most important band being interviewed, the main focus, and show the unique selling point, which will be an exclusive poster. The inside will feature interviews and updates on jazz bands and promote and advertise upcoming jazz bands. And it will be 100 pages. The resources I will need is Photoshop. To create some of the magazine, I will need Photoshop to add in photos and edit a few things. I will be using that font for different text such as title and the interview and different subjects, and Fire Alpaca, which is a drawing software I will be using to help create the design for the background of the magazine. I will also need a computer, of course, to create the digital graphic, a camera set, being a camera, SD card and tripod to take photos of members of bands that I'm interviewing, a photographer team to help me get the best pictures possible, an editor to make sure that everything's being spelt right, there's nothing wrong with the text or anything like that, a writer to help me properly talk about the jazz artists, because although I can just say what the artists have been saying, I've also got to give a little background on these upcoming jazz artists because not many people will know about them. And we'll also need a proofreader, just like an editor, to make sure that everything I'm saying is accurate. I'm not saying any wrong information. Now, as I've said for fonts, I will plan to use the same fonts for both versions of the magazine, both digital and physical, unless they prove to be difficult to read. For the writing text, I will be using Prestige Elite Studio. For the headline text, I will be using Phosphate. And for the subheadings, I will be using the Reprise Rehearsal fonts. Distribution. The physical version will be $4.99. They will be available in local magazine stores, shops, all sorts, and online you can get a bundle subscription for a discount, which will have the magazines delivered to you monthly for a cheaper price. The digital version will have two available versions. The first one is $2.99 and will not include the poster. The second will include the poster and it will cost $4.49. Subscriptions will cost $19.99 for a 6 month delivery package, which sends the next 6 issues directly to a customer's door on the day they release. If the magazine proves to be successful and has enough sales, about a year or two after the first issue, I will make a second subscription service which features all of the archived and previous magazines. So if, for example, a new reader started reading issue 15 and they were behind on a bunch of issues and they wanted to learn more about these other jazz artists, they could use this subscription service to look at all of the older magazines digitally without the unique selling point being the poster. However, to make sure that people still buy the monthly issues, there's going to be a 4-month wait before a new magazine goes on to this new subscription service. and this will be a price of £6.99 because a lot of other subscription services do a price of around £5.99 to around £8.99. So I felt £6.99 for a magazine, especially with £2.99 issues for digital, would be a good compromise. I will also be creating a website. This is a way customers can access questions audiences will have, such as what's the estimated time of magazine delivery, if I'm not receiving magazines, where can I go to them, general information to help them if they've got a problem with anything to do with the magazine. It will also include the way to order magazines, and also have the featured subscription services that people can pay and then either get the monthly magazines or the archived magazines. This is a general idea of what the magazine will look like. So there will be a link tab here for questions, here to buy physical subscriptions, a link here to buy digital and other subscriptions that are digital, such as the archives, and for help and more for frequently asked questions. Also, the main website will have a small About Us page, which tells you a little bit about the background of Smooth Tunes, why it was created and such. For the age demographics, the primary audience will be adults aged anywhere from 30 to 50. With kids and teens, they listen to a lot of pop, hip-hop, and teens listen to a lot of rap and hip-hop, and young adults, they listen to all sorts of stuff. A lot of adults, they have a certain genre which they like listening to, and they plan with sticking to that genre. And a lot of adults listen to jazz as they're working, so I felt like this could be a good primary demographic. The second age demographic will be elderly, aged 65 plus, because for elderly people, jazz may have been just starting to become extremely popular back when they were younger. They might listen to it for a sense of nostalgia or want to see what it looks like in the modern day. I've also made the decision that with any other specific demographics like gender, race, class or ethnicity, there's no specific for any of those, because the thing about jazz is a lot of people just pick it up and listen to it. Anybody can listen to jazz because they feel it's just a relaxing thing to listen to. So just as jazz is for everyone, I plan for this magazine to be for everyone. I plan for the marketing to have something mentioned on the front cover specifically stating that any new person who buys this magazine, they will 100% guaranteed be able to find new facts about an upcoming jazz band or the jazz industry in general. This will keep them buying each issue, not just for the jazz bands, but to know more about the jazz industry, specifically how upcoming jazz bands can be treated if they're unpopular or if they all of a sudden rocket in popularity. I also plan to have advertisements on apps such as Instagram and Facebook for the primary audience, as they spend a lot of their free time on their phones and social media, Facebook specifically. And for my secondary audience, a lot of elderly people still buy newspapers, read them, so I plan for advertising to also be featured on newspapers. The main idea is the magazine will feature interviews of, as I've mentioned before, upcoming jazz bands located in North London. However, there's a small little twist to this, as I will interview them twice. I will be interviewing them during production of their song, and then I will be interviewing them a second time after the success or aftermath of their song. This is mostly because you see, I will ask, during production, I'll get their general thoughts, what they think, will they think it will be successful, are there any worries they have at the moment, and then for the second interview, I'll get them to look back on what they've said and share their present day thoughts. As I've said, in today's industry, it's nearly impossible to become famous, even for a 15 minutes of fame. So I feel like upcoming jazz artists and artists in general need a lot of attention, especially in today's era. And I want to spread awareness of underappreciated bands and not just talk about